1B Baker Street. On the count of three, everybody tell me who lives there. 1, 2, 3. Sherlock! This is a little bit of trivia I'll share with you while you are checking your cell phones to see that they are silent. When you do that, while I tell you this little bit of trivia, it's true. People from all over the world still write letters to Sherlock Holmes at that address asking for his help. And those letters get delivered because there's a person there who answers those letters to this day and says that even though he has retired, they wish them all the best in finding someone in their area. Hopefully not dead, but yes, so that's how that goes. Let's see. I get to do a commercial. This is so fun. We had 4 wonderful restaurants support this play. And I promised them that I would devote a commercial to each show. And they're kind of fun. I'll try to make it funny. Well, I won't stop. Anyway, Baxter's on Cedar. Applaud if you've been there. Take my towel away from me, why don't you? Okay, I'm supposed to tell you about this. They are a wonderful place if you've never been. I've been there. It's a wood and brick interior, and it's very warm. And they call themselves an upscale pub that serves American cuisine. So if you're picturing yourself sitting there swigging beer, don't. They have amazing food. They have a chef on staff. They cook in-house from scratch if possible and use fresh local produce. And if you need a better reason for so, have you ever seen the sign out front? There's a black lab on that sign. How many people love Labradors? And the Baxter's was established in 2014 by 2 guys and their black Labrador. So in honor of Baxter, go to Baxter's and have a wonderful time and just don't tell your cat. So is everybody ready to go back in time to Sherlock? Yes.
Episcopal choir is forming up again.
But the church choir.
I will give your regards to the Almighty. At least it would get you out of the house.
I don't want to get out of the house. I want to get him back in.
What are you talking about? He is here all the time.
No, he's not. He's gone. More gone than he had walked off into the fog and disappeared. Gone inside himself. Oh, that lovely Sherlockian madness. I mean, he just sits in that chair like it was 80 fewer a day. I'll have to start dusting him soon. It all had to do with that woman who was so clever. She bested Sherlock as the king of Bohemia.
You need to calm down. You want a nip of this?
Oh, my kingdom for a good murder. All across the pages of the paper. Blood and gore and Scotland Yard dipping around the crime scene like a pack of hounds. Sherlock swooping in and solving it just like that. And him coming home all full of himself and demanding that I'm making his tea. And me telling him, I'm not your slave. And then making it for him anyway.
Oh, now. It'll all come right. Someone's bound to murder someone soon. This is
were they fighting about?
A woman. And then Mr. Penman came home the next day after work and found my poor Mary dead. Or so he said. But the thing was, there was no cause of death. Not a mark on her. She wasn't strangled or stabbed. Or nobody shot her. She didn't fall down the stairs or off the balcony. She was just dead. And they can never prove she murdered her.
Suicide.
How? No cause of death.
Heart attack?
Coroner said no.
He put a pillow over her face.
Well, Derek Penniman probably put one there every night, but not the way you mean. No poison either, not that they could tell anyway. But she'd been drinking pretty heavily, which was understandable if she'd off herself.
What did Derek Penniman say?
Said he wanted a solicitor. Wouldn't talk.
Guilty? Guilty? Guilty.
No doubt. What proved it? There was no evidence of it. When they found her, she was just sitting there in a chair at her dressing table, dead. But the odd thing was, she was wearing a rosary bead like a necklace.
And with all that happened, they never found out who did it. Or why?
Well, they knew she was murdered, and someone was guilty as homemade sin, but who? The only one with the motive was her husband. Well, two, actually. Her money, his girlfriend. Then he took off to Spain. Or was it Argentina? I always get them mixed up. But to this very day, free as a bird, probably living somewhere with his lover. And the authorities just wrote it off and forgot about it. And my poor Mary is up there plunking on her heart, waiting for someone to get a clue.
You know, Mrs. Pearl, this might just do the trick. The rosary murder.
Irene! I scream? Yes, I scream. You! I rap! Oh, you!
I've come for the viewing of the body.
Oh,
Seems I'm premature.
you have come, you've seen. Are you left yet?
No, still lingering. Seems so are you.
Why are you here?
Why, to pay my respects, of course. And to give your eulogy. I've brought my notes.
Oh, you don't need notes, you have total recall.
But still, in the emotion of the moment, I might say,
We don't do emotion.
dearly beloved,
Oh, that's for weddings, you clot!
we are gathered here today to lay a living legend to rest. Though the lesser of the two of us, the moon to my sun, still, Sherlock's history arts have entertained us for years, and we'll have to resort to reading naughty novels to replace the thrills. He will be greatly missed by the London journalists who relied upon him for relief of the theme of purse snatching in politics. And of course, I too shall miss him, especially at Christmas time. And I'll have no one to distract our dear mother from her improving commentary on my life. As Sherlock did not rest in life, we have little hope that he shall rest in death. But we do wish him all the best. There, what do you think of my tribute? I thought it was rather touching.
I have never known a mother to realize her baby was homely.
Oh, if you're well enough to be rude, there can't be anything seriously wrong with you. Why have you withdrawn into the tomb of your room? Oh, surely not, Sherlock.
Oh, shut up!
I was expecting a rare disease at least. Though a cynic such as I couldn't define being in love that way.
In love!
Oh, it's not as though she's dead, Sherlock. The woman is alive and well somewhere, and is plotting to murder you eventually. I find that rather cheering, don't you?
In love?
Well, here you are, drooping like a dusty daisy. What else might you think?
Anything but that. My mind is an immaculate machine oiled by logic. Love tracks mud through the mind. I don't allow it at my door.
So, the woman wasn't a woman to you at all. She was an enigma, a mystery. Then allow your big brother to deduce that what you need is a new mystery.
The only mystery is why you're still here. Wait, did your England send you for my help again?
Our England, Sherlock, and no, I'm here because you need my help. If I can find a irresistibly baffling murder for you to solve, do you promise to bathe, shave, and behave?
You rhymed. Ugh. Did you go to France and catch Tourette's syndrome?
Oh, don't be silly. I never go to France. It's too French. Do you promise?
We're not 10.
Really? Then stop acting like it. Mummy is concerned about you, Sherlock. And when Mummy is concerned about you, she involves me. And you know how much I love that. Now, I will see if there's a nice cold case that I can warm up for you, and I shall be back. Until then, I must be going.
So soon.
Indeed. Mrs. Hudson?
Mycroft. Knock, knock.
Oh, can't you see I'm trying to be alone? Wait, where are you going? Where are you going? Where's my tea? Oh, hello, Miss Pearl. Your cat's not here. Please go away.
Hush now, Sherlock. We've got good news. It's about a murder.
And the Catholic Church.
Are you happy? Hallelujah. Have a seat.
He doesn't like the nuns. Used to whack his knuckles with a ruler.
Tea.
Oh, yes, tea. Mrs. Pearl, go fetch the tea. Mrs. Hudson, go on.
Well, Mrs. Pearl had a niece, Mary Penniman. Poor thing, she wasn't very pretty.
Not enough rouge in the world.
But she was very rich.
So a dead scar's filled up nonetheless.
Exactly. And one day she chose a suitor whom she truly loved. But then she found out he had been unfaithful.
Oh.
Well, they had a huge fight about it. And when he came home from work the next day, he found her dead. So some people say it was
Murder.
and some people say it was
Suicide, yes.
Yes, exactly. But Sherlock, the mystery is there was no cause of death.
There's always a cause of death, Mrs. Hudson, primarily from the heart stopping.
And hers did. But there was no cause for it. She wasn't suffocated, or struck, or shot. She hadn't fallen. She was just sitting there, dead.
Sitting? Where?
Well, at the dressing table in her bedroom. And she was wearing a rosary around her neck as if it were jewelry.
I bet you think her husband done it.
Nope.
Oh, why not?
He was a husband, and he had a mistress.
Well, how did you know he had a mistress?
Because he was a husband.
Anyway, after her death, he moved to Brazil. What was it, Colombia? And it was assumed that his lady love went with him.
Right, so if she was stabbed, nobody shot her, it wasn't poison, then how did she die? And as a card-carrying Episcopalian, what was she doing with rosary beads? And who's Harry when he's home? That's what I want to know.
What do you think, Sherlock?
I believe magicians do their best magic through misdirection. Nothing to see. Left or right or looking any direction when there's a perfectly staged body right in front of you.
So you think that the death scene was staged?
I do. By the murderer or Mary Penniman before her suicide. It's quite possible that she wanted to frame her husband for her murder to get back at him for cheating on her.
Oh, that is rather good.
So, if I'm on my knees, the one in the chair would be the mistress, and then I'd frame
Well, dear ladies, let's hope the rosary has something to do with it.
So you'll take the case?
Why not?
But why wouldn't the rosary have something to do with it?
Because it was the one thing noticed, the one thing remembered. I believe that's the murderer's intention, and it seems so carefully staged. The question is, what was it that the murderer did not want people to notice?
Knock, knock. Is the detective?
Watson, perfect timing. Do you remember the case of the heiress named Mary Penman and her murder?
Should I?
There was no cause of death, and they couldn't determine if it was a murder or suicide.
Well, they certainly kept a low profile on it. I don't remember anything about it in the paper. Ever.
That's because it wasn't in the papers. I only learned about it this morning.
From whom? Lestrade?
Mrs. Pearl.
What?
Mary Penman was Mrs. Pearl's niece. I'm expecting Lestrade. Please stay if your wife will allow it.
Sherlock, I'm my own man. I do what I want, not what I'm allowed.
And now be sure to never tell your wife you said that.
Thank you. Now, why have you summoned Lestrade?
I am investigating the Rosary murder. It's the murder that Mrs. Pearl and Mrs. Hudson had named the Mary Penman murder case, and I find it quite delightful.
Jameson, wait here. This shouldn't take long. Hello, Watson.
Lestrade, come on in. We did pick your brain.
Really? You usually just insult it.
Oh, that's good fun. Ah, I see you brought the photographs of the case. What do you primarily remember about the Mary Penman murder?
Primarily, that we couldn't prove it was.
Quiet. Watson, behold the photographs of the Mary Penman funeral. No murderer would want to miss the closing act of such a grand production. I refer to the scene of the death, a perfect portrait of deception.
Every one of those photographs have been identified and interviewed.
Quite, but I'll need all the information. Probably useless, but good to have nonetheless.
Nothing I like better than supplying useless information.
Lestrade, in this case, everything that seems important might not be and vice versa. We have collectively let the wool be pulled over our eyes, and I will not have it. Did you identify this man?
The gravedigger, but he's the gravedigger. We didn't interview the employees.
They don't normally dig the graves the day of the funeral, Lestrade. Too close to the bone emotionally. Doesn't help to be flinging shovelfuls of dirt and earthworms as a pan the priest says from dust to dust. No, this is not a gravedigger.
But he's holding a shovel.
Watson, look. Those hands have never worked a shovel. Not muscular, no discoloration from dirt, no calluses, not a gravedigger.
Good heavens, Sherlock. Have you found the murderer already?
What?
No, I've just found someone pretending to be someone they're not. Probably her misbegotten son who resented her for giving him away at birth with Catholic charity services, and killed her for revenge and came to the funeral to gloat.
Really?
No, I made it up. My point is, we must keep our minds open to solve this mystery. The killer creates conclusions from clues. A man in a graveyard carrying a shovel must be a gravedigger. A dead woman with a rosary around her neck must have a religious connotation. A jigsaw puzzle. It's a picture. It allows you to put the pieces together. I believe that's what our killer is doing. He or she is telling us, here's your picture, now put the pieces together. But that's wrong. We must put the pieces together in a different way. And whatever we come up with, that will be our truth. This gravedigger is trying very hard to make sure no one knows he's a gravedigger at all. Or he's another red herring.
Another? You're saying there are others?
Lestrade, there are enough red herrings in this case to break a fishing net. Quite possibly every clue that has been planted in this case has been intentionally planted to mislead us in different directions.
Oh yes, Scotland Yard has bungled it all again.
Exactly! Glad we can agree for once.
Oh, we're celebrating. Are you reopening the case?
What? No. Oh, buddy.
I will need all the files in the case.
Fine.
That's the spirit.
Jameson, please get us all the files in the Mary Penniman case and return here promptly.
Yes, sir.
The killer thinks this case is done and dusted, but we are about to dissect it with an investigative autopsy. Gentlemen, the game is afoot. Or, as the military would say, what would they say?
Let's catch the bastard.
Let's catch the bastard!
Hello? I'm supposed to call this number if anyone asks for the files on the Penniman murder. Are you the one I talk to? Just asking. I want to be talking to the right person, don't I? I got a request from Inspector Lestrade. I could ask why they're requesting them, but they'll wonder why I'm asking. I never ask why they want a file. No, don't do that. I'll do it. Dear God.
Jameson, come in. You have the files? Thank you. Is there anything else?
I was just curious about the new interest in the case, if there were any new clues. It was quite a puzzler. No cause of death at all.
No. Sorry to disappoint, but there are no new clues, as you would say. The request for the files is entirely random. Every once in a while, we open up a random cold case. Makes it look as if we give a damn and all that kind of stuff. I return the files back to you after an indeterminate amount of time. Could you give us a moment, and I'll send for you? Yes, sir. Of all the bloody people, Jameson. He's been with us for 14 years, and he's a mole. Someone's using him to find out while we're looking into this case.
Why the long face?
Well, because I'm gonna have to have him sacked. And probably have him arrested as well.
Do you always throw your diamonds into the dirt? So he's good long enough to be blackmailed by something. Haven't we all?
I haven't.
What do you mean?
So he placed a bet on Bob's your uncle at the races and paid too much and had to borrow from the bail money to pay the bet off and have his legs from being broken.
What? How do you know?
I pay people. But can't you see, this is a fantastic stroke of luck. We've inadvertently rattled the cages of a blackmailer connected to the case. A blackmailer who has turned Jameson to the dark side as goal if anyone expresses any new renewed interest in the case. So isn't it obvious what we do next?
No.
We pay him to be a blackmailing double agent.
Sometimes being on the side of the angels requires knowing what the devil is up to.
Oh, bloody hell. Jameson, come in here.
We know all about the bet, the bookie, the bail money, and the blackmailer.
It's purely accidental that they all begin with B.
The only thing you would do to make it worse is to deny me it.
going from bad to worse, and I didn't know what to do.
Knowing right and wrong is usually pretty in line with our job, Jameson.
It was just a bet. I lost a bet, but I couldn't pay, so...
So you stole the bail.
Nicked? He nicked the bail money. Less damning.
And how are you going to pay it back?
Any way I could, sir. I don't know.
Hard to earn extra money with your legs broken or strawed. Here, Jameson, bottoms up, brace up, and tell us about your blackmailer.
The blackmailer knew all about the bets. He knew everything. I don't know how, and I don't know who he is. He said he'd give me the cash to put back into the bail money if I did him a favor. It meant I could keep my job, Inspector. I got a family to support.
Well, you should have thought of them before you decided to bet the rent money.
I'm not normally a betting man, sir, but one evening I was having my Friday night pint and I heard these fellows talking about a sure thing.
There it is.
There what is?
The hook. The devil casts his hook into the sea of humanity and catches the ones who wander near the bait. The bait usually being women or money, because people are pathetic and predictable.
No offense, Mr. Holmes, but I don't really well not pathetic or predictable.
Were you at your regular pub?
Of course.
Predictable! Oh, then you were enticed to place a bet you couldn't afford to lose, which is pathetic. Why does everyone argue with me when I'm right?
Now, Sherlock, it could have happened to anyone.
Anyone predictable or pathetic?
Jameson, here's what we want. It's very simple. If this person contacts you again, we would like you to let us know.
I'm not sacked.
Of course not! Why throw away our lemons when we could make lemonade? Without you inform us about him.
You want me to be a double agent?
Exactly.
That sounds dangerous.
Absolutely.
Not. No, it's safe as houses. Besides, he already knows what you look like.
Oh, God.
That came out wrong.
For heaven's sake, you're an officer. Are you telling me you're afraid of criminals?
I've got retirement to plan for.
And you wouldn't want to be posthumous, we understand. But you're not sacked, so there you go. And if the blackmailer contacts you, let us know, but you probably won't because you served your purpose, and that's a good fellow. Bye-bye.
No, Sherlock. If he's nervous and the blackmailer picks up on it, he can be in real trouble.
What's wrong, you happy child? He's already in danger, but we didn't do that to him. He did it to himself, so let's use him while we can.
We're cold hard, aren't we?
Far-sighted, Watson. Yes, it's tragic what happened, but he will help us catch our killer. And if that's not redemption, I don't know what is. Now, what was it that the killer did not put us in notice in the bedroom?
Not a clue.
Not surprised. What didn't you see?
How can I tell you what I didn't see?
Okay? Try this. What did you see? Was the bed made?
Yes. Bed was made, slippers were beside it. But you know, the wife's dressing table was neat. A little too neat. My wife's dressing table is all full of cold creams and cotton balls.
No, my wife always has her stockings drying somewhere.
One can only imagine, Watson. What else? Clothing?
No.
Jewelry?
No.
Pictures?
No.
So it was a perfectly set bedroom.
Yes. Too perfect.
Nothing to distract you from the perfectly set scene right in front of you.
I feel like such a puppet.
And where there's a puppet, there's a puppet master, and that is our murderer.
But that's the husband.
Motive?
Money.
Not according to the banker's witness statement.
They had a joint account. That's what she wanted. It was her express wish. But just recently, she added his name to all her investments. Said she didn't want him to feel like a gigolo. Quite frank about it. Total access, absolute trust. I recommended against it, but apparently she thought love would conquer all. Since she was subsequently murdered, it obviously did not. I was right. Tragically right.
I have found the statement to be most revealing.
Oh yes, completely.
That a lady like Mary Penman would use the word gigolo. Mention it. Why even mention it? To use that personal, most scandalous word in a business conversation. I believe it was a suggestion.
A suggestion?
Yes. She deliberately planted the seed that her husband was not a gigolo to someone who never thought he was one. And now he's thinking it, isn't he? With that very word, she planted the motive and the identity of her husband as the murderer. Talk about setting a scene.
Well, then I don't get it. She suggested her husband was a gigolo, and it turns out she was right. What's the mystery? He did murder her.
Digging the straw. Are you certain?
Well, no, not anymore.
Who else had the motive? Only the husband, correct?
I don't understand it yet, Watson, but there is a mystery here to be solved. The conversation with that banker and the financial arrangements they made set up her husband as the motive for murder. The death scene set up a perception of suicide. There's something in that bedroom that she did not want us to notice, but what was it? What was it and why?
Well, if you don't know, Sherlock, no one does. Perhaps it's just as obvious as it seems. She trusted the wrong man. We're all madly in love when we start out. Open arms, open heart, open bank account.
Open casket.
Well, that's a bit of a leap.
Lestrade, was there an open casket, a viewing at the funeral?
Well, I don't know. Does it matter?
Yes. Let's go visit Mr. Livingston.
Who's Mr. Lit? Well, I guess I'll walk up.
Oh, gentlemen, one moment. Stoney, how goes my good watchman?
No joy, Mr. Holmes.
Damn, not even one murder in all London.
Not a dicky bird, Mr. Holmes. Not a dicky bird.
Ah, well, keep up the good watch.
Watch? Sherlock, you really lost it this time. The reason they call him Stony is because he's stone blind. How can he watch for anything?
He sees better than any of us.
But
He thinks he gets more money being a woman. My best informant. Come along. these gentlemen are?
I'm so sorry, but...
You forgot to ask. Never mind, Miss Darcy. Send in the mystery guests.
Mr. Livingston will see you now.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, you I recognize. And Mr. Watson, I presume. And you are?
Lestrade of Scotland Yard, most notably known for his professional discretion remaining unknown. We're here about the Mary Penniman case. You may recall it.
May I ask why you're inquiring about this particular case?
Let's just say there's renewed interest.
Obviously, but why? I admit to curiosity. The presence of Mr. Sherlock Holmes indicates a new clue, perhaps.
That's exactly what Jameson said.
Yes, one could yearn for some excitement if one works on the banks of the river Styx, but we're merely here for information. Was there a viewing?
No. Although there was no disfigurement, a closed casket was requested. I thought it indiscreet to ask why. I assumed it was the extreme emotional element involved.
Oh, how very professional of you. No, but for your common curiosities, there are no new clues, but the old ones are taking on a new meaning. You will say so in the conversation you're about to have.
What conversation?
The conversation you're going to have with your blackmailer the moment we leave your threshold. Whatever they have holding over your head will put you in less trouble than being an associate to murder.
Murder? I assure you my involvement with the late Mrs. Penniman was purely posthumous.
No doubt. But there's always two sides to every murder. The commission and the cover-up.
This conversation is over. Mr. Lestrade, we will of course cooperate completely with Scotland Yard. As to our files for this client, Miss Darcy, my assistant, will help you. Good afternoon. Another mole.
You even use the same words Jameson did. New clue.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How may I help you?
We would like to see the files in the Mary Penniman case, please.
I'm so sorry, but files beyond a certain date are consigned to storage.
Stored on site.
I'm so sorry, but
They're not. Where are they located now?
off-site.
The address.
I'm so sorry, but you're gonna have to fill out a request form first.
Lestrade.
I'm Scotland Yard. I'm formally requesting for you to summon whoever's in charge and have them lead us to the storage facility immediately.
I'm so sorry, but they're not here.
I assume you can summon them.
Wait, let me try. I'm so sorry, boss.
The gentleman in charge of the facility checks in, but we never contact him.
Wait. Why?
I don't know, sir.
Does he go by Smith or Jones?
Smith.
Mycroft. No. Who else could it be?
Why would the government be involved? It's purely a marital matter.
Lestrade, there was no cause of death. Do you really believe it's strictly a marital matter?
Where are we going?
To the coroner's office. We'll find more truth there than any file in this case. The dead do not lie. Lestrade, take out your notebook and write down anything interesting.
Douse me in rose water, and I'm the secretary.
Gentlemen, I require a word alone with my brother.
I'm Scotland Yard.
And I authorize your salary.
Goodbye.
Watson stays. Explain.
No, not everything is within your purview, Sherlock.
My neighbor's niece. Purview.
You need to stop.
No. Who is she?
Who?
The victim.
Do you know who the victim is? Mary Penniman.
No, you know who the victim is.
You're not making any sense.
Where's the mistress?
She is wherever she may be. Probably with Mr. Penniman off frolicking in Argentina, or was it Nicaragua?
You know where everyone is, Mycroft, so if you can't tell me, she's probably nowhere.
You need to stop.
No. I marvel. I simply do. At Her Majesty's finest, the criminals they pursue.
Does it ever occur to you, Sherlock?
Everything occurs to me.
Sherlock, it's late. I'm in a morgue when I should be at home fireside reading Proust.
No one reads Proust. It's a book you leave in a coffee table to impress your friend.
Why do you think I'm here?
You need the overtime?
I'm here to save my everlastingly overstepping little brother.
Save?
I'm not going to take bullets for you, Sherlock, but I've come to warn you not to stand so directly in front of them. You're always butting in. There's no bloody reason for it. The guilty parties are off frolicking in foreign lands, but God will hit them eventually, and all the wrongs will be righted. Isn't that enough for you? Can't you just go home?
Where's the coroner?
It's after hours. I assume he's at home.
Where's the body?
Buried.
Then I want it exhumed.
Oh, and your wish is my I don't give a damn.
I want the autopsy report.
By all means.
Really?
Of course, a public record.
Then I want the one that isn't.
Go home, Sherlock. Go home.
You know, maybe I will. Don't want to get Watson in trouble.
Would you stop that?
Probably not. Mycroft, your sudden concern about my well-being constitutes a problem with my investigation. I will go around you, over you, or through you, but I will not stop.
But I will. There will come a point, Sherlock, if you persist in this, that even I cannot save you.
Really? Well, let me ask you a question. Are we there yet?
If he promise.
He knows. Damn the man, he knows.
Sherlock, perhaps you should stop.
This coming from a military man?
Part of the battle is knowing...
Don't say retreat.
I wasn't going to say retreat. War is strategic. You can't just pick up a battering ram and charge the gate. So far, we have been stonewalled by the funeral director, dodged by the coroner, and confronted by Her Majesty's finest. If we press forward knowing no more than we do now, Jameson, Livingston, and the coroner could all lose their lives, and Mycroft could be reassigned to Siberia.
You almost had me convinced to stop until you threw that benefit at the end about Mycroft in Siberia.
And then you have to go rescue him, and you know it. Let's reassess, calmly, over a brandy by the fire.
You silver-tongued devil. Brandy it is. connected to officials like coroners and funeral parlor directors. Not surprised, but my own people. My best informant to inform me that if I speak to him, his life is in danger. This has never happened before. There's something different about this, Watson. This is no ordinary opportunistic guttersnipe of a blackmailer. This is someone who's put the fear of God in everyone from a police file clerk to Mycroft.
Are you saying you're afraid?
Are you asking because you are?
Never.
Nor I, but not for reasons of commitment and bravery like you. No, I'm just unencumbered by emotion.
A machine, huh? A machine who cares about his brother?
Conceited clot.
Mrs. Hudson?
Frivolous woman, head full of cotton hay and rags.
Me?
What was your name again? No, Watson. I'm not afraid, I'm intrigued. I believe Mycroft is protecting someone.
Well, of course. He said so. You?
No, he was involved before I was involved, so he's protecting someone else first.
But who means more to him than you do?
Someone as deep on the dark side as I am on the side of angels. Watson, you're a doctor.
Sherlock, you finally found me out. You truly are a wonder.
Well, there's no cause of death. What do you put on the death certificate?
Well, it's a bit of a dirty secret in my trade that sometimes we don't know why someone dies. And when that happens, we put it down to heart failure without specifying why the heart stopped.
You lie.
We don't lie. We are merely inexact.
Ah. So, you give people the wrong conclusion, and they draw the wrong conclusion, and that conclusion becomes their conclusion, which is then their problem, and not yours. Watson, there's something there. What is it?
I don't know.
A death with no cause for it. Having people have a conclusion, and that's not the right one. We're close. So close.
Tea time!
No blood runs through the streets of London. There's always time for tea.
As long as there is tea time, there will be an England. It rests our hearts and awakens our minds.
And gives criminals time to run amok. The sound of spoons tinkling gives them the coast is clear. Below the bank safe, the kingdom come, nothing shall prevent the sound of sipping throughout this England.
Oh, you are so Shakespearean, Sherlock. Did I ever mention that?
He certainly is dramatic.
Knock, knock! Has anyone seen my cat? Oh, tea! Wouldn't say no to a cuppa.
By all means.
We were just saying how the stage missed a great Shakespearean actor when Sherlock chose criminal investigation.
Oh, too right. He would have made a great, who's the king with daughters?
Romeo.
That's right.
Oh, that scene in Romeo and Juliet, when he thinks Juliet is dead. I always cry.
Why art thou yet so fair?
Like your poor Mary.
Yeah, a bit.
Your husband walking into the room and seeing her like that?
Stop.
Stop what?
Stop everything. Not even a sip. Romeo thought Juliet was dead. But she was alive. She was alive. She was alive.
Yes, we hear you, but what do you mean?
Watson, the reason there was no cause of death was because Mary Penman was not dead. She was alive.
can't bury the living, Sherlock.
Give your marriage time, Watson. When was the last time Mary Pennon was seen alive?
His last heard count. They had a bit of a domestic the night before she died.
It were a battle royale.
Mrs. Pearl had gone there to do a little cleaning, and she couldn't help but overhearing. Shouting so?
Shouting? Do they do it often?
Well, they did it never.
She was accusing him of cheating on her.
Which was the last thing I'd ever think of them. They always seem so happy together. But you never know.
So it's moonlight and roses, not the clear blue of the flaming battle over infidelity. Suspicions, anyone?
Sounds like it was staged.
Yes. What did you hear?
Sherlock, I don't remember.
Oh, no bachelor I may be, it is common knowledge that a woman never forgets anything a man has said, no matter how long ago he said it. Was he feeling naked?
My wife can quote me chapter and verse since the day we met.
Did you hear it from the beginning?
I think so. At first she just said she had a headache.
Did you hear her say that?
Ear to the keyhole.
No, I just heard it, that's all.
Projecting like an actress to the back row.
I'd say so.
He said she was being ridiculous. Oh, that made her mad. What's ridiculous is you panting after that foreigner. We were just talking. You were on the balcony alone together for 23 minutes. Blame timing us. Everyone saw you, Derek. It was humiliating. What's humiliating is being married to you. No, what's humiliating is being married to you.
That was brilliant.
As was the original performance staged for you to hear.
Was not.
Was true.
Was not.
Was true.
Was not.
Was true.
Children!
So they staged an argument. Why?
Sherlock, that's not the most interesting element.
You tell.
The most interesting element is they knew Mrs. Pearl was the only one listening.
You're right. Explain yourself.
Stop swooping down on her like a big bat.
I'm doing some cleaning for her, and it is my day to do it, is all.
So you hear an argument you are meant to hear. You find a dead body you were meant to find, and no, it's quietly filed away as a suicide. A cheating husband and his mistress, and the only one dead is Mary Penman, but she's not. And yet she disappears. It makes no sense. Since then, has there been any word on the street about this 23-minute balcony creature? Anything?
Oh, my Lord. So do you think it was the mistress that they buried at the funeral? Good way to hide a body.
Mrs. Pearl, give me a headache. Mary Penniman was taken to the coroner's office. If the mistress were taken there too, don't you think someone there would have been able to count to 2?
Oh, I give up. I have a hard time following the plot and murder mysteries. I'm going to go home and feed my cat.
You do that, Mrs. Pearl, and keep the wheels of mental mediocrity well oiled.
Back to the subject, please. If you are correct, and Mrs. Penniman is still alive, I don't understand what her fake suicide accomplished. Financially, it left her with nothing and him with everything, and free to marry his mistress.
Like I said, it makes no sense. But yet it does to someone.
Derek comes up as an unknown factor in all of this, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. When you were reviewing Lestrade's case file, did you notice anything in particular about Derek? Anything outstanding?
No, but then again, there wouldn't be. Derek traded on good looks and charm his entire life. Don't have to attend eating for that, do you?
The fake documentation succeeds by being bland.
No need to raise a red flag or prompt a question. The documents are perused, approved, and forgotten. That's their point. I believe that's like Derek's past, but now I take leave to doubt it. Another thing. Do you recall any disappearances in the news around the time of Mary Penman's supposed murder?
You're thinking of the mistress. Just one?
None.
What? But how is that possible? If she lived and worked locally, surely someone would have reported her missing.
And if she didn't? I'm beginning to think her identity is important to discovering his. Either way, people disappearing without drawing the attention of authorities and the public not noticing, that right there is my brother's shady sleight of hand purview.
Speaking of your brother, do you know what concerns me about all of this?
Probably so, but go on.
Your brother is practically throwing himself in front of you to keep you from looking into this. But why? Mary Penniman was an heiress. Mycroft doesn't concern himself with high society.
That simplifies things, doesn't it?
I think it just confuses them.
Mary Penniman was a known factor in high society. Derek was not. So the question is,
Who is Derek?
or who was Derek before he came on the social scene? He was none other than Mary's husband, no one to fear, nothing important other than to give society something to rattle on about. But yet, here's my brother protecting me from investigating him.
If he's protecting you, what makes Derek a danger to you?
I want to know who he is.
Which means Derek is someone else entirely.
So it would seem.
So the devil is in the Derek details. Where do we start?
By phoning Livingston at the funeral parlor, we will once again seek answers to living mysteries among the dead. Strange career, this detective work.
Go gently, Sherlock.
Dear Watson, I would if I could, but this time I can't. There are two ways to confront your enemy: by flushing them out in the open, or you going out in the open yourself and attracting fire.
Sherlock, I don't think you should.
Don't worry, Watson. If there's any attracting of fire to be done, I delegate it to you, my military man. Excuse me. Livingston, 11270.
Livingston Funeral Parlor. Mr. Livingston speaking.
Livingston, home here. Don't ring off. I have one simple question for you.
If it's brief, go ahead.
You will tell your blackmailer I have placed this call, but will you also inform her?
Her? Who are you talking about?
Thank you.
What was that about?
The oyster just gave us a hurt. He did not react when I mentioned the blackmailer, which means he has one, same as Jameson's, obviously. But when I asked Livingston to inform her, he was completely confounded.
Which means there is no her.
Not alive, Watson. If Mary Penniman were alive, he'd be concerned about me asking about a woman.
Oh dear. Oh, poor Mrs. Pearl.
Yes, you'll have to take comfort in her cat. Because Mary Penniman is not alive and well in Bidders, Whaler, or wherever for that matter. She's dead, Watson. Dead by the hand of Derek or Mycroft. Mycroft? Well, not personally. He delegates. The government never murders Watson, they simply manage emergencies. That's not crime, that's efficiency.
But why would the suicide of a society heiress be an emergency?
It wouldn't. Which means the importance in her as being Derek Penniman's wife. So, it brings up again the question who Derek actually is.
If he's connected to Mycroft in some way, what would that make him?
Someone very good or very bad. The government is always on the side of angels, Watson, but there are angels of light and angels of darkness, and both are
occasionally granted authorization to pull a trigger or two in Her Majesty's service.
Sherlock, if we bumbled into the government on this, we may be well advised to back away.
Did you say bumbled?
Would you prefer I said stumbled?
When it comes to bumbling and stumbling, you are entirely in Lestrade's domain. I work with the precision of observation and deduction, and I have deduced that 3 people have disappeared. One dead but not dead, and Mycroft is in it up to his cravat. If you think I'll be stopping anytime soon, you're certifiably insane. Best be going home, Walton. Mycroft's on his way here to upbraid me for contacting Livingston nonetheless.
How does he know?
They're connected at the hip. Mycroft is connected to everyone. It's the wonder he can walk, dragging all his connections around. My best you're beloved.
Really? It used to be regards to the missus.
And?
No and, Sherlock. No and at all. Mycroft?
Sherlock, you surprise me. Why are you still clinging to this Mary Penniman mystery, which isn't a mystery at all?
Then why are you trying to distract me from it?
Oh, so dramatic. I'm merely suggesting that this petty family squabble isn't worthy of your powers.
Yet it's worthy of your time. This is twice that you visited me about this petty family squabble.
It's just that there's no mystery to it, Sherlock. Everyone knows what happened. He was having an affair, and she found out about it and committed suicide.
There was no discernible cause of death.
She was a woman, it was poison.
Not according to the coroner.
Now, what does that body butcher know?
What is this about? Is this about you? You're always about you.
Well, can you blame me? No one else is more interesting.
What are you not telling me?
Is trust nowhere among your abilities?
No,
Not even in me?
especially not in you.
I enjoy the confidence of the crown, you snotty little plot.
Exactly. And that's what I'm looking at. The crown bus you're prepared to drive over me if I don't drop the case. Why? This case is sealed on all sides by a blackmailing villain. Someone you should be pursuing, not protecting.
So...
What are you not telling me? Are you straddling heaven and earth between the angels and demons?
Oh, so dramatic, Sherlock.
Life is dramatic, Mycroft. And love would be too if it weren't so ridiculous.
Love isn't always ridiculous. Just because you don't understand something doesn't make it ridiculous.
You're offended. That means, oh, I shudder to think what it means. Is love involved in all this?
And if it were, you don't know how to proceed when emotions are involved. Would you stop?
Quite possibly.
Well, then yes, there's much of love involved in all of this. To delight you, I would admit this is love at its worst. Love can lead a man to matrimony or to murder.
Or both. Matrimony first, of course. And you?
What about me?
Where's love driven you? No. I'm off the mark. Where's love driving you? And for love of what? Oh, please don't tell me it's for love of whom. Don't tell me it's a woman.
Oh, it's not a woman, Sherlock.
Well, I thought I could make it better, but I guess I can make it worse.
No, actually, I couldn't.
Love that's not romantic. Love of money. No, you've been rich for far too long. You're used to it now. Love of power. Are you protecting your place in the government? Oh, don't give me that look. It was a good guess. Forging on. Love that's not romantic. Family. No. Mommy and Daddy are neatly tucked away in retirement, so it obviously means me. yourself? Yes, that would make perfect sense. But you're trying to stop me, so that means I'm detecting my way to you. Oh, my God. What have you done?
My duty. Nothing more. Unfortunately, nothing less. And you're getting right in the middle of it. How can I protect you from yourself, Sherlock? Deduce that for me, won't you?
You could just tell me the truth!
Your only safety is in ignorance. I cannot tell you anymore.
Who said I needed you to? Go home, Mycroft. You keep telling me to go home when I am home. Go! I need to think. What's love got to do with it? Someone should write a song with that title.
Leave him out of this!
I'm not putting him in the middle of his gears.
He's nothing to do with it!
Oh, Mycroft, you're so wrong. Because you obviously care for him. Hurting him hurts you more than hurting you. So guess which one I'm going to do. You cowardly creators and deployers of men like me. How do you like your handiwork?
This isn't over!
On that we agree. My darling, you're playing our song. You summoned me.
Derek Penniman?
Not anymore.
Ah, well, what do you call yourself?
The name of this phoenix, rising from the ashes of the strange dream that I never wanted to end, which became the nightmare from which I can never awaken. My name is Moria. It's a Gaelic word. It means wandering seafarer. I'm the modern Flying Dutchman, Sherlock, doomed to sail forever. No rest for my soul and no home for my heart.
Huh? No home for your heart? I see you've recreated yourself as a victim of love. How very weak.
You don't mumsy have a clever little puppy. You have such a reputation, Sherlock. I admit I want to see if you can live up to it. I've watched and I've waited, and so far you've been floundering around like a fish with one fin. So, I came to see if you would like a few hints.
I love hints.
Call me grand, I love giving hints. Here's one. You're not in a fight. You're interfering in a fight. Are you biblically conversant? Truly, truly, I say unto you, that he who passes by and meddles in a quarrel not his own, is like one who takes a dog by the ears. If you don't want to get bitten and bloody, I strongly suggest you withdraw. Although, I hope you don't. This would be such fun to eviscerate you as collateral damage.
And leave my brother to stand alone.
Interesting. You mock love but indulge in loyalty? Alone. Yes, the power of the crowd behind him.
Yes, until they realize he's better off dead.
Sherlock, you do not disappoint. You are every bit the swaggering coxcomb everyone says you are. Very simple. Something happened. There is no undoing. It is the cause that I am merely the effect. When I've had my full effect, I'll go away. If you ever want to be free of me, just let me have my way and you'll find I go away. I'm truly the most easygoing fellow, when no one forces me to be otherwise. Sailing away now.
Bon voyage, you emotional cripple.
This had better be good.
Derek was here.
Derek,
He paid me a visit. He was attacked, but he was the victor.
he told you that.
I observed it. His cravat was out of place due to a violent sudden movement.
That sounds like hand-to-hand combat.
Exactly. And, what's more, I noticed a faint trace of a rare cognac that Mycroft adds to his aftershave. He claims it has an emotional effect and a subliminal effect to his opponents that makes them think he's rich and powerful.
Mycroft attacked Derek.
Absolutely. And, even more interesting is that Derek knew what I deduced. He either wanted me to notice or didn't give a damn. And even more interesting is he spoke of love, of having lost it and now living with others. He has renamed himself Moriarty, after the tale of the Flying Dutchman. And he's forever unmoored because he says his heart no longer has a home.
He was not speaking of his wife.
No, he was speaking of his mistress. Neither has been seen since then, which makes sense for Mary Penman if she committed suicide, but makes no sense at all for the mistress.
No, it doesn't. Derek is free. Why aren't they together? They could be married.
Only if you're a necrophiliac, Watson. I fear she's dead as well. But if not by the hands of Derek Penman, then by
Mycroft?
or Mary Penman. If Mary loved her husband, she would have hated his mistress. Love and hate are two wings on the same bird, Watson. They take us places we never thought we would go. Remember I said that if there are two bodies in that coffin that someone at the coroner's office could have counted to two? Well, someone did exactly that, and then nailed down the lid. We need an exhumation, Watson.
Sherlock, wait. If Mycroft tried to stop this Moriarty fellow and failed, that says quite a lot. If the government fears him, it means they have reason to.
Do you doubt my ability to bring him to justice?
Sherlock, according to Mycroft, the powers that be already know who done it, and for some reason they don't want to do anything about it. Why risk it? What would be the point?
You think I'm going to lose. I've never lost.
You've never been in love either. You've observed love, yes, but you've never experienced it. It's a blind spot for you. My entirely cerebral friend, love can exalt a man or deform him to a monster. Derek Penman is the proof of this. I've never experienced the blacker aspects of love in my personal life, but I can see it from where I stand. I could murder for my wife. You know nothing of it, so you can't know him. The point that I'm trying to make is that you are not so much out of your depth as you are out of your comprehension. You can't think your way to him, but he can think his way to you, and I would rather he didn't.
You see him as one step ahead of me?
1 mile deeper into hell. It's his base of operations. You are trying to solve the murder of Mary Penman while he will never see any murder besides that of his lover. You are trying to solve, he is trying to avenge. You are similar in mind, but poles apart in motivation, and it can't help but put you at a disadvantage.
So you're concerned that I'm a target?
No. I'm sorry, my friend. I don't think you're a target. I think you're a toy.
What?
This new Derek, this Moriarty, I think you're his new toy. His new challenge if you want to see as a compliment. His new distraction if you want to see just how trivial it would be even if you did win. Like you, he's bored with humanity. And then suddenly, along comes Sherlock Holmes. Either not quite human or super.